How's it going, guys? It's just me again. And I'm going to be talking about my journey with living with type 2 diabetes. Around 1999, 2000, when I was still living in Lawrence, my dad got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And then my mom got diagnosed with it as well. So it was I think it was before I moved to Los Angeles. Before I moved to Methuen with my parents. And I think I was still living in Lawrence at the time and going to high school. Or early college. Or before I started college at Northern Essex. And, all I had was like my mom, I had sleep apnea. That's all I had. I was about 260 pounds when I was 18. And then I went to college, and we moved to Methuen, and I just kept gaining weight. I gained all the way to 300 by spring of 2003. And then I got hypnotized to lose the weight, like I've told you before. And I lost from 300 pounds in May of 2003 to 150 pounds in August of 2004. So I lost a total of 150 pounds. And I was finishing up college, and I was getting ready to make my way to move to Los Angeles. I said, I have to lose the weight before I move. And I did that. Now, I got that out of the way. I don't know if I still have a sleep apnea or not. Possibly I did. I used to wake up in the middle of the night with dry mouth all the time. And then once I reached about 230 pounds, it was going away. So I didn't really wake up anymore with dryness. So I moved to Los Angeles, and little by little, because of stress, weight started coming back on me each year. Regardless of weight management, exercise, dieting, 2006, I went from 100 and I gained a little back before I finished college, about 15 pounds. I moved to LA, I was about 165 pounds. So by 2006, I was getting toward 180. And then 2008, in the spring, I was about 220 because of, my experience with Annette Funicello's niece and what she put me through. I was going through that, and I was going through a lot of stress at that time because of that. That was late spring of 2008, early summer. And then by 2009, I had reached 250. And then I dieted again, and I got back down to the 210 to 230 range. And I stayed at that range 2010, 11. Both of those years combined, I didn't really gain anything. I stayed at that weight range. And I was feeling good. I was feeling healthy. I was sleeping right. I was eating right. And I was okay. And then 2012 was a big year when things started changing for me. I was reaching my 30th year. And I had joined SAG-AFTRA. Other people that I, saw cheating the system out in LA were getting a lot of work. People were helping them to actually live there. My hackers and stalkers were always accusing me of, my parents were helping me. And I'm sure that other guy that was getting all the work, his parents were helping him. He's an only child as well. How could you stay in LA by just getting PA and extra work? Nobody held a grudge against him. But people awarded him more of that. And there I was, struggling, honestly trying to get work. I never lied on resumes like him. And everyone told me, oh, you're doing fine, don't worry. And then I started going out with that woman, the older woman, and we started hiking. And she promised me all these things, which didn't happen. She promised me she was going to get me on the daytime soaps, which that other guy was also getting work on, just like her. Nothing happened. She worked on a new series on HBO. She was going to get me on that. That never happened. That was all throughout 2012. I had to go on food stamps. That was the only year I went on food stamps. And people were telling me, oh, Mark is, relying on state money. I never relied on it. Ever. I should have. So I was struggling 2012, and then I lost the weight. I was about 260 by spring of 2012. So the weight was coming back on me, but it wasn't, like years ago, I didn't look the same. I'm like, look at this. I didn't have that. The cheeks have always, with the weight gain, the cheeks get bigger, I'd say. So that was 2012, 2013. I got down to 220 again by the fall of 2013. At my last headshot session I did out in LA, I was 225 pounds. And then, the next year I put on, by 2014 in the spring, I was back to 250. And then, I let my ex-girlfriend go after that point. I was working at Pyology Pizzeria, and then I got, in 2013, and then 2015 I got a job at Dunkin' Donuts on the side. These were side jobs. And I tried staying away from food. I really did. I mean, I ate, salads at Pyology if I could. And at Dunkin' Donuts, all I had were the coffees. I never had any donuts, any kind of those desserts that they had there. So my sugar levels were still good. I wasn't told at doctor appointments, oh, you're diabetic, or your sugar's really high. But I was getting, around 2016, 17, that I'm borderline diabetic. I was always told, you're borderline. You're not diabetic yet. You're just borderline. So, over the years, when I was in high school, I didn't eat sushi. When I was in early college, I didn't eat sushi. When I moved to LA, that's when I first discovered sushi. Sushi has white rice in it. The Simply juices came out. Simply apple. Simply orange. Those came out, I think it was just around the time I moved to LA as well. And I was drinking a lot of Simply apple. A lot of that. And a lot of Simply lemonade. And then a lot of Simply fruit punch when that one came out. But I was not diabetic yet. I was still not diabetic. I'm into my 30s now doing that. And then 2019, I finally said I'm going to move home. I moved home, and I got a doctor here, because I didn't really have a family doctor back home at all. I mean, in LA. I came back home, and I finally got one again. And they said I had hypertension, so I had to take a pill for that. And then they said I was borderline diabetic. That was 2019. I'm still borderline diabetic. And then I was getting, around 2018, I was eating a lot of hummus with garlic and everything. I was getting acid reflux. I was getting a lot of GERD, they call it. A lot of burps every time I'd eat hummus or garlic, if I ate too much of it. So that was happening. So I had to take a pill for that. And then I had gained in the later years in LA, by my last years, I couldn't believe it. I gained over what I was years ago when I first started losing weight. It wasn't much, but I was like, what the heck is this? I don't look the same as I did when I was a teenager or early college. So after I moved home, I started losing weight again. And by summer of 2021, I dropped to the lowest of 250. I haven't gotten lower than that since then. It went back up again. Uh, in 2021 in the fall, I became a shift manager at Jersey Mike's in Methuen. And I was drinking the natural soda they have there. The all natural. And I was still eating a lot of sushi. And I was still drinking a lot of Simply Fruit Punch. And I was drinking a lot of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks and Heavenly Donuts that had the swirls, the sugar swirls in them. And that's what was doing it to me. So by spring of 2022, I noticed something. I was going to the bathroom a lot. So I had my blood work done. I went to see a weight doctor. And they diagnosed me finally with diabetes, type 2. My A1C was 9.1. So I went on metformin and I went on Trulicity. And I lost weight. I lost from, I don't know, I struggled in the 260 to 280 range. Like for a long time. When I was living, my last years in LA, I was around those ranges sometimes. Mostly it was 280 range. I got from like the 280 range down to about 260 with Trulicity. And by last year, 2023, I had gotten out of pre-diabetes. I was regular again. So then when I checked my blood work again, maybe a year later, I had gotten into the beginning of pre-diabetes again. And then yesterday I checked it again. And yesterday, my A1C was 9.6. So that's 5 points higher than it was in 2022. Because the last couple of months, I've been noticing going to the bathroom a lot again. And I've been feeling thirsty. It's been a little stressful the last couple of months. Stuff has been going on, but it's getting better. Getting stuff out of the way now. Things are getting a lot better. But a few times I went against my diet and I had white bread. I haven't had white bread in years. Since around the time I got diagnosed with diabetes. Even before then, I didn't have white bread. And I've been drinking a lot of, say, Ocean Spray and Mott's juices. But the ones that have no added sugar to them. That could be the reason why it's so high. And then one day, it was about 3 weeks ago, I accidentally drank a regular Dr. Pepper by mistake. I thought it was zero sugar. So all these things combined probably brought that back up to that high. So now I'm going to be on metformin. Take 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. And 3 weeks ago, I stopped Trulicity because it hasn't been available for a while, for a few months. That could be another reason why my A1C went up. I wasn't on Trulicity for at least a couple of months. They didn't have it available. Now I'm on Wegovy. And I've been on it for about 3 weeks now. I have not weighed myself. The last time I weighed myself, the doctors weighed me, I was in the 280s. I don't know what I am now. But I am stopping any of those juices now. No more. No more Ocean Spray juices. No more Mott's. It's just going to be sugar-free water enhancer. That's all I can do from now on. And that's pretty much my story of living with type 2 diabetes, aside from a few other things.